What's going on, everybody? Papa here at West Georgia Rides and Customs. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the USACC group build. Where we're building this year the 1968 Dodge Dart by Revell, picked by our good friend over there at Kim's Model Garage, Mr. Kim Soda Pop. Great choice too, I might add. If y'all aren't subscribed to Kim, go over to Kim's Model Garage, give him a sub, watch some of those great builds that he likes to do over there. Kim lives over in Denmark, and it is just remarkable how broad this the USAC group build has become. Just not, I remember when it first started, we started just a handful of modelers, and now it's went worldwide. Not only has it went worldwide, it's went out into the magazines as far as I think the Automotive Modeler magazine is doing kind of keeping tabs on it this year. I know. I think a couple years ago we got kudos in Model Car Mag also, as far as showed some of the builds and stuff that we all built when we were building the Dodge. I was trying to remember which one it was. The Plymouth. We were doing the Plymouth GTX. So I think it was GTX. I forget which one. It's the one that Mark picked that year. But another Mopar has come down the pipeline, and let's give you a little update of what since the last video that I showed y'all. After salvaging the everything on the back half as far as what we've been doing here, of course we got the back half in. If any of you are noticing where I have this glued in back here, if you're wondering what the brown stuff is, that is glazing putty. Well, if I get it in camera, that is glazing putty that I use to fill seam lines, especially on back halves. Once I epoxy it in, there's usually a nasty seam down through there. So I usually just take, and this was, I glued this on with 5-minute epoxy. So after it set, we got everything sanded down, had a little bit of a seam line down through there, a little seam line right here, and we cured that with glazing putty. So I like using the 3M glazing putty to fill voids. Okay, now let's show y'all what we've got done. We talked about in the last episode making templates to fit everything. Where you're kit bashing this and that. So we had to take these are the door cards from the Revell kit. This is the door cards from the 67 Chevelle Pro Street kit. And I told y'all how they blended in and are the same size. And as you can tell right there, the only thing I'm probably going to have to do, it's a little bit taller than the original door card. Once we get these married in, I'll just take a sanding stick, and we'll shape that up right there to where it fits, and it will blend in very nicely. Now, we talked about taking the once we make our templates and we transfer the pattern to the part that we are trying to duplicate. There's what I had right there. Perfect match, so it should fit over here in the in this frame very, very nicely. The other thing that we talked about was how did I cut all that excess off right here. And what I use, a lot of you, I got one of these Dremel, battery-powered Dremels. I love this thing. I got it for Christmas one year, and this is probably one of the most useful tool that I have in my arsenal. Another thing that I have is these Dremel cutoff tools. This is a thin cut. It's got the quick disconnect on it. And what I started off doing was where we had the line marked off, I just kept cutting it pretty close to the line, not directly on it. But once we got it cut to where we wanted it, I took and I like these bigger X-Acto knives. This is the number 11, and you can see what the difference is. This one allows me, it's a stiffer blade, and I can take and I can trim and carve with this a lot easier than I can one of these little small handle number 11s. Plus, there's some flexibility to that as well. But once we get it pretty close to the line, I'll chuck I'll chuck one of these bits into my Dremel, and then we'll start getting that line, getting it closer to the line with that. Then we'll clean it up with one of these, start cleaning it up closer to that. And then our final fitment is with one of these sanding sticks, and that's getting it right up to the line as close as possible. Then we check our progress along the way, and voila, fits perfect. Now that we've got those ready to go in, there's what we will end up doing once we on final assembly. Once we get everything painted, detailed, we'll glue a piece of styrene back here as far as a joiner, and we'll glue those two together. Once we get those in there, then the door card and final assembly will go in there. So. But this turned out very well. I'm very pleased with it. It took away the problem with the as far as the package tray. That problem's been solved. So this stuff right here, we'll go over here to the pile that is ready for. I try to keep everything separate. That way I don't get stuff confused with the progress. And we'll move on. I always save my templates for other occasions, just in case if I was to need it for maybe another build. I got a little file drawer over here. I just throw them over there in it, and then we move forward to the next build. But this is where we're at right here with the 1968 Dodge Dart Pro Street kit. It's getting very close to, I wouldn't say being finished, as far as all of the fabrication for everything is getting pretty close now. We're working our way back to pretty much trying to finalize the ride height in the rear with the 4-link suspension that comes with the back half kit. And once we get all that dialed in, and then we'll finish out back here with this particular in this particular area. Gotta get that in there right this time. Got it in. Once the rear bumper, and I'll simulate this. There's where right about there is where the rear bumper will sit. So I got a little void, probably about a 1/4-inch void. I'm thinking about just drawing a straight line right across here on the 3D printed part, taking my my Dremel cutoff tool and shaping that up straight down through there. Then we'll add a piece of styrene to fill in that void right there. Then take some of the half-round roll, or really it's a half-round. Let's see if I've got it. Right here. Sorry about that. I had to reach off screen. It's Evergreen Scale Models styrene. It's item number 240, and I always use this stuff when if I got a raw seam or something. And once you get it glued in, it's that shape right there. And there's the product. It's very thin, as you can see. I'll use my thumb and I picked this up at Hobbytown. You can get about 5 pieces of this for about $4. So, but I use it to, and I can show y'all where I used it at. Is you can see that's a piece of it right there, and that's what I use to make that seam. Not really disappear, but it'll show up as a maybe a lump in the carpet or what have you when I get that done. So. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to possibly putting this bad boy into some primer, seeing where we're at with the body, and but that's how we're going to rectify this gap back in here missing. We'll add styrene in here, and if there's a raw joint right there, we may either use some half-round or maybe even just some of the flat styrene that I got supplies of. Anyhow, that's where we're at right there. Hope this is finding everyone well. We're coming down to the week before Thanksgiving, so don't know how much building I'm going to accomplish during the holidays and stuff, but we'll keep pecking forth through this. We're also coming to the point of the build where once we start, we get all the fabrication and everything. We get the fabrication and everything done. We'll start priming, getting things done, and then it's getting pretty close to the time where I start trying to think about some color on this particular build. My old buddy Lucas C, when he sent me the picture of a '68 Dart Pro Street car, of course it was a Hemi car. Of course it was Pappy red, and I really liked the color that was on the car, but I kind of want to really do a little different outtake on this car, something bright, of course, but I was thinking like maybe a candy color. We just recently lost the community lost a great builder, Mr. Butch, Mr. Marriott, and Leon Cregan. He passed away last month. He was one of my Pro Street building idols on YouTube. When he built something, I always watched. And then he became a good friend of mine, but I'm dedicating this particular build to Butch. And I really want this one to stand out. I really want this one to be special. So I got to do a special paint job on it. And what we're thinking about doing is maybe a candy color, not red, not Pappy red, but I've got a couple of colors in mind. This is the Tamiya paint that I'm thinking of. The TS73 is the clear orange, which I will be able to do the candy with. I'd probably use either a silver or gold under base color. I'd probably do the gold and use it. I'm gonna run some test spoons here in the next couple weeks, see how they turn out, or I'm going to possibly do it in metallic orange. I really like that color. That's got a lot of nice sparkle to it, and I really like that. So we'll see. We'll see what once I run some test spoons. Of course, I'll when I do a test spoon, I always spray the same color, or how I spray it the same way I would on a test spoon as I would on the body. I would use like on this particular color, I would go with a white, probably a white primer, cut back top by that with the gold, then top with this with the clear orange, then coming over that with a clear, seeing how that works that way. And then the same thing with this. I might try this one several different ways with a gold, maybe a silver under base or a primer, and then hit this, then the clear, and then see what comes out nice on that. But as usual, I will give y'all updates on what color I have chosen. I think I've narrowed it down to these two right here, but we'll see. And I've also thought about, instead of airbrushing, I want to show everyone that you can achieve a show finish using rattle cans. And I'm not talking about Rust-Oleum or Krylon or anything like that. That's using these right here. I've seen on a lot of model forums here lately about the pros and the cons about using rattle can paint, whether you're using Tamiya, whether you're using just whatever floats your boat. I know the biggest problem that people complain about Tamiya is I can only get one model per can. Not me. I can get possibly 2 to 3 out of a can, and it's all in the prep and what you just don't spray it heavy. That's the biggest thing. Tamiya is made for models and models only. Krylon, Rust-Oleum, any of that stuff, that's for lawn furniture. But if y'all want to use it, I've seen some beautiful paint jobs with it. It's just applied it comes out heavy, so be wary of using that for your models. It comes out heavy for larger surfaces like lawn furniture or projects around the house. This stuff comes out like this a lot in a smaller amount of volume, and you got to lay off the trigger when you're spraying this stuff. That way you can stretch it out and get 2 to 3 models out of a can of this volume right here. So anyhow, that's it. I'm fixing to close this one out, but I appreciate everybody that's been following along in this build series. I want to give kudos to MCB Products for making some of the great products that I'm using on this particular build. Still got a few more products that I'm going to use on it, so stay tuned with that. If you're sitting at the bench, sit there and pull up the annex of these guys right here over at the Scale Model Car Podcast. Great group of guys. I enjoy getting in there with them when I can and cutting up with them. And as I always say, stay tuned to this channel right here for updates on the 68 Dart USACC group build. And as I always say, if you can dream it, build it. God bless y'all. Pappy out of here.